guests, dear colleagues, dear friends, I'm very privileged and honored to be today here with you. I feel so happy and so anxious at the same moment for this presentation, for everything that is going on, that we were working for, I don't know, like 6 months or something, that is finally happened. I think I'm still not completely conscious that the conference starts. I really like to thank you all for coming and being part of this, I think, really important conference for all of us from the region working in this field. I will start with my presentation as a psychologist, feminist activist. I'm Maja Mamula, I'm from Zagreb, and I work in the field of sexual violence for more than 25 years. I started since the war, unfortunately, as a young psychologist and student. So, as a feminist, I think that we should start from the context. Context is actually everything. So I will try to focus on the context of sexual violence and what are the biggest problems in this field. First of all of us in this room knows that there is lots of very specific things concerning sexual violence. First of all, it's one of the worst crime, major crime, with the last reporting rates. It's also the worst violation or type of violation of the most personal, intimate and psychological boundaries. At the same time, we heard Lilja, it's gender-based violence, we know it. It's one of the two major forms of gender-based violence, except domestic violence, sexual violence is one of the examples, where the biggest proportion of survivors are women. Doesn't matter girls or women, and the biggest proportion of the perpetrators are men. And also, one of the biggest problems concerning this issue is that is with lots of prejudice. And through this presentation, I will try to mention maybe the most important ones of them. So, what are the key issues that I like to mention? It would be 10, I promise. Only 10, even though I can speak a little more about all the problems connected to the issue. First of all, Lilja already mentioned the topic of sexual violence is out of focus. It's out of focus all the time. All of us who are working in this field very often felt alone, that we are not understood well enough, not only by the side of other politicians or institutions, but also from other women's organizations also. So, it's systematically ignored, even though when we see the good changes, positive changes, concerning other forms of violence against women, such as domestic violence, sexual violence is really still left somewhere behind. We do not have it even on the European level. Some public policies solely for the sexual violence. It's always beside other forms. It's never specifically mentioned. In Croatia, we don't have it at any level, except our code of conduct in the case of sexual violence, but it's not public policies. And we can also see the lack of political will to do or to make some real changes in this field. One of the examples that I put is that the few special services across the European Union are concerning or are for survivors of sexual violence in cooperation with other forms of violence against women. The second one is that we really do not know the numbers. First of all, the biggest proportion of the survivors will be silent for the most part of their life. Second, in the biggest part of the countries, or in most countries, there are no researches about prevalence. Or if they are, there are so much methodological differences, so we get completely different results. I think it's good to have Council of Europe data like 1 in 5 children will survive some form of sexual violence, about 20% of women will survive attempt of rape or rape. But still, we really do not know the numbers, especially if you start speaking about some specific marginalized group or minority groups. We really don't know the numbers. Even when they are researches, they are usually only about the prevalence, but not about some other very important aspects of the problem, such as What the factors contribute to the reporting or other things that are very important for this subject. And also we face a lack of recognition of some forms of sexual violence, especially about contemporary forms of it. Third one, the hardest for me to speak in English because I'm a psychologist, and when I came to the legal terms, it's like, oh, I will try my best. So, if you speak about reporting, the problem is that reporting very often means like additional trauma, additional traumatization or secondary traumatization, re-traumatization, whatever term you choose to use. First of all, in most cases, there is no immediate report. There is time between surviving sexual violence and reporting. It means loss of evidences, and that's the problem. The second one is the statute of limitation. It's a new term that I finally learned in English. I know it only in Croatian. And it's especially a problem for child sexual abuse. In Croatia, it starts when the child has 18 years old. But still, we have lots of cases when women came like 28 or 30, finally prepared, finally empowered to report it. And then it's a fact. She can't do it anymore. It's statute of limitation as a problem. Then it's an attitude towards survival. It's very often complete distrust, numerous repeated investigations or questioning like few times, even lie detector in Croatia. So it will be very interesting to see most of these examples are from Croatia, but also other countries for the region. It will be interesting in the discussion to hear about other experiences. Sorry. And also, what is a problem is unpreparedness and incompetence of some institutions when we speak about reporting sexual violence. So here are some examples. Taking testimony from the survivor, but by 3 different teams within 3 different days and no charge of hearing. Or if you think about women's room research from 2005, that 70.5% of women survived attempted rape or rape, 95% did not report it. Fourth issue is connected with long and uncertain court process and hard to attain justice. In Croatia, usually average length of proceeding is 3 to 5 years. 3 years first court instance, and then about 2 years second court instance. Penalties, for example, for the rape are from 1 to 10. And in most of the cases, there are minimum penalties imposed. It means 1 year for the process of 3 to 5 years. So it's always, for me, what is the message of legislator for the general population and all of us? Also, there are problems with poor legislative solutions. In Croatia, we still, until the 1st January of 2020, we still have the difference between sexual intercourse without consent and rape. I think it's really a shame. It's unacceptable to have it. And we really fight for so many years, women's rooms and other organizations, and it will finally be wiped out from the penal code. So it's a great thing to have it. We also do not have complete respect of victims' rights, even prescribed by law. And actually, from my perspective as a psychologist, everything in the process is about perpetrator, actually, about his rights. Concerning education from the people that are working in relevant institutions, we can still see really lack of education during the university education or afterwards as a specialized education. And we can see that lots of helpers don't know anything about the law, or other professions don't know anything about specific needs or specific aspects of the problem of sexual violence. So there's lots of prejudice just perpetrating all the time in the society, and we really need to make some big difference in this field. Other important thing is there is no sufficient number of services for the survivors. Actually, the type of services that provides qualified, specialized, long-term, free of charge help and support for survivors, for their family members, for close persons. We know that the recommendation for Council of Europe on 200,000 inhabitants, one rape crisis center or specialized center. We do not have it. We have actually 2 specialized organizations in the region. And it's not a big difference in lots of countries across Europe. And it's really a problem because even those services that are existing, they are not supported by state or local community for their work. And also we have a problem with mental health professions. My colleague, psychiatrist from Croatia, will especially look at this part. I have 2 quotations. One is from one survivor, young survivor. I've been going to the therapy for 8 years, and they never revealed the cause of my problem. And second one is from the therapist psychologist working in one of the biggest clinical hospitals in Croatia. Since she is a survivor, said it after 2 years. That is clear evidence that it doesn't matter to her. So that's the attitude toward survivor. Seventh problem is also really mentioned is prevention. We do not have prevention for youth, but also not for general population. If we try to come to the schools, it depends on the goodwill of school principal or professors. Very often is, could you please change the title of your workshop not to be sexual harassment, maybe flirting or some other terms, just not to put it like sexual violence or sexual harassment. Also, we do not have public campaigns, national public campaigns about the topic. Then, something very specific, expectations of survivor versus reality. First of all, when I said expectation, spoke about it in women's room, like expectation has some kind of negative connotation. But what survivor expect? Really only something very usual and normal. That system works, that she will get justice, that system will protect her, that she will get help and support. Just really the normal, usual, normal things that someone can expect. Actually, the problem is that she doesn't know how the system works. She will be shocked and angry for so many things when she finds out how the system actually works. For example, ratio of trial time to the sentence. Actually, no one, not society or close persons, will acknowledge the pain and suffer she lost in most of the cases, and she wouldn't get support, or especially qualified support. Here's also some quotations from the survivors. First is actually not survivor, but mother of survivor, minor survivor. I believe he'll be in custody until the trial is over. It's not possible in Croatia, especially if you think about 3 to 5 years and sentence of 1 year. And the other one, is it possible that he will get fewer years in prison than the years my abuse lasted? She was sexually abused by her grandfather from 12 to 17. The grandfather got a sentence 3.5 years, and he was released out of prison after 2.5 years. Reaction of environment, our community and environment. It's very unsupportive in so many different ways. Unrespect, stigma, permanent stigma for the entire life. But also if we see media coverage of the topic, very often it's very sensationalist, sorry, I need time for some words, with lots of details, unnecessary details, selling actually the newspapers, or mocking, or inappropriate in so many different ways. And finally, all of things that I have mentioned actually lead us to the last one, that all of us live in rape culture. Rape culture as a concept put by feminists, it means very, to say it like in usual words, that we live in a society that justified and tolerate sexual violence and other forms of violence against women. It's perpetrating, it's actually, we can see it, and we can see it every day from politicians, from institutions, from general population. And we can see it in ways of jokes, in a way of how more trivialized and normalized all the form of violence against women, especially sexual violence. And it's one of the biggest reasons, or the main reason, why it's so hard to open the topic and to really do something in eliminate sexual violence. And I'd like to finish just with one question. It's a question from RAIN, United States Organization Against Sexual Violence, but I think it's important to have all these numbers very clear. If out of 1,000 rapes, only 310 get reported, and only 6 rapists end up in jail, can we allow for this topic to remain out of focus? Thank you.